told my dad, I think I got hit. He said, they ain't coming. What? They didn't come. 12:15, almost 2:15, and they didn't come. It was a good day. We see them here. They claim to be Christians. That's what it is. Still nothing to do with this about it. What it is. Call already?
Yes.
Let's see. Go ahead and pass him through while I'm doing this. What about to get in? Go ahead and pass him through.
Okay.
Hello, caller? Oh, you caller, you the perfect one to sit and listen to this with me. Put him on hold. Hey, hold it, that's playing. I gotta put you on hold. Put him on hold, but don't you hang up, don't you hang up, don't you hang up. That quality ain't ever hit it. They always try to buffer when we get in here.
Here we are today, understand that what's not at the Capitol to protect the medicine to a fully
Doing a new kind of
the LGBTQ Americans and for our country.
I'm on the air. Let's try this again. Since the other guy through. Hello, other guy. Yes, sir. How are you? What now? What? Would you
Do fine with me.
That's cold. That's cold. I don't. As a matter of fact, if I did know, then I thank God that the way I came, I didn't go a normal route that I traveled. But I think somebody was planning on assassinating me. Just so happened the street I went down this street in 2 years, turned off James on Highland. But I tell you what, the police out there, let me run out there right quick, man. Let them play this video for 3 minutes and I'll be right back, okay?
LGBTQ discrimination nationwide, and it could pass in time for Stonewall's 50th anniversary later this year. North Carolina is refusing to provide life-saving medical coverage to trans workers, and a gay couple in Minnesota is finally married 48 years after applying for a license. We'll have the week's top LGBT news and how it affects you on Weekly Debrief. Weekly Debrief is made possible by everyone who pledges their support on Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/mattbaum or click the link in the description to check out the rewards available to backers. As I'm sure you know, in most states it's legal for someone to be fired or evicted or thrown out of school or thrown out of a business if someone even suspects that they're gay. There are a handful of protections in some cities and in some states, but overall it's a patchwork of unpredictable laws all across the country. But that may be about to change. This week, Congress introduced the Equality Act, which would implement a nationwide policy prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. Democrats have been trying and failing to pass some form of this protection since the 1970s, but this time things are a little different. For one thing, there are a record number of co-sponsors, including an overwhelming majority of supporters in the House. On top of that, a new study shows that a majority of Americans across almost every demographic group supports what the Equality Act would do. Support is at 69%, which is pretty nice. Of course, the Republican-led Senate and the White House remain an obstacle to LGBTQ equality, but even just passing the House would be a major milestone, building momentum for passage. If not this year, then sooner rather than later. Also this week, Lambda Legal is suing North Carolina for dropping medical coverage for trans employees. Nearly 1 million people were covered by the state health plan, and it previously covered medically necessary treatment related to transitioning. But Surprise, as soon as a Republican took over as state senator, that coverage vanished. Experts agree this coverage is necessary, and denying it puts lives at risk. Lambda Legal has won similar lawsuits in Alaska and New York, so it is frustrating that states still haven't learned their lesson. So now, how about some good news? Michael McConnell and Jack Baker tried to obtain a marriage license in Minnesota back in 1971, and they got one until the clerk realized that they were both men. Now, for 50-ish years, their marriage status has been a question, with the couple saying it's valid and the government saying it's not. Well, as of this week, the couple won. Social Security Administration ruled that they are married and have been since 1971. As far as we know, the oldest legally recognized same-sex marriage in the United States. So, congrats to Michael and Jack, and thanks for blazing a path. This week's action item: now's the time to bug your members of Congress about passing the Equality Act. It'll be up for a vote in a few weeks, so we need to build momentum for passage now. There's a chance that it could pass by June, in time for the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots. As always, let me know about stories that need covering at MattBound on Twitter and in the YouTube comments. Thanks to everyone who makes Weekly Debrief possible with a pledge of support on Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/MattBound or click the link in the description to check out those backer rewards. I'll debrief you next week.
Now, y'all keep that in mind. Thank God we got President Donald Trump. He said no, they gonna block that Equality Act. Basically, what they're doing is getting attached to that homosexuality to civil rights. Remember the word transsexual? I'm gonna show you something. Where they going with this? If you put it back on the police, they will interrogate me. On my idea. Exactly where you at. They will interrogate me. They're gonna be the show. Okay, keep going. You'll be back in a minute. This homosexual movement is deeper than what y'all know. Not deeper. Remember transsexual? Because now I'm going to show you something about what they lead to with this called transhuman. Let's go get with the other guy right now, then I'll deal with transhuman. Okay, other guy, we ready to talk to him. The who? Well, you know, I'm going to tell you something. I thank God for me turning away that I haven't came in 2 or 3 years. If I had been traveling a normal routes that I do when I come to the radio station, you may have been able to make me a little paranoid. You may have been able. But thank God, you're not able. Because whoever did that was random. I caution y'all in this city. There are people out here that are randomly shooting at people. That was not aimed for me. That was aimed for anybody that was coming down that road at that particular time. That could have been you. And tell me about it, man. My angels, man, they had me going too fast or too slow. They had me going at the right speed. Well, I'm still here. I'm still here. Okay.
That dude crazy, man.
Who?
That dude called you black. I mean, he's so disrespectful.
Who?
That dude called you black radio show, and he want to be the black successful. But when he called you a Howard Beauty, he boasted.
Oh yeah. Whenever he calls in on a Ben Ferguson show, he's bold-to it. Right. He don't say nothing about jungle bunnies or torch monkeys. No. He talk with real good sense. I heard him.
Yeah, but he put him down there now. And sit on it. I'm the black conservative. Now, he knew his popular name is black conservative. He knew that.
He doesn't do it. The most erudite mind, brilliant thinking, and political. He does none of that.
Yeah, but they got those out here that say, he called it erudite. I call it asinine.
I'll tell you something else he did. When I found out that Ben Ferguson was giving fake news about that AC Ward and Kim Conrad situation,
whatever happened.
and I gave him the proof to see that Ben gave fake news, he never. Well, no, I still ain't investigated that. I found that interesting as well. I don't like double standards. I don't care who it comes from, the liberal or the conservative. I stand for truth.
That's the right way to be, man.
I stand for truth.
That's the right way to be. You know why those homos were shooting at you, man? Because there are thousands of sins in the King James Bible. You only pick out 3. That's it.
Well, you tell me what other sin, beside the homosexual sin, is bold enough to get in the church and tell the church that not only is it not sin, but that God wants them to be that way. You tell me what other sin that does that.
Well, let's pick out two then. Let's go with gluttony. Let's go with.
I ain't heard no preacher get up in the pulpit preaching that God wants you to be fat, God wants you to be greedy. Have you?
They don't preach it. So when they put them dinners out there,
they may. I did not say that there was nobody in the church that was committing sin. That's not what I said. What I said was they are bold enough to get in the pulpit and say that sin is not sin. That's what they do.
So that because of that, you only going to stick with those things.
Can you name it? It's a pastor. Do you think it's my job to teach people to warn people about what's a threat to the church? Do you think that's my job? Is it a threat to the church for somebody to mislead God's people that what God says is sin, for them to get in the pulpit and say it's not?
Absolutely, I believe that.
So why would I not proclaim to the world about the evil of the homosexual?
I have no problem with that. My problem is that that's other sins, sir. Why don't you talk about them?
I do.
Why don't you talk about fornication?
I talk about fornication. I talk about adultery. There's not one officer of the church, including myself, that can be openly living in fornication, living in adultery, living in homosexuality, that they can be an officer of their church. They can attend church. We want them to attend church because that's what church is for people that are sick and want to get well. But I will not. Do I not? Oh, yes, you can come. And we're going but you got some sins that you proclaim. Matter of fact, you proclaim to be the sinner.
He said he just said a man.
He just said a man.
There you go, Q.
That's right.
It's about time Q finally come in and say the right thing. Say the man, that's me.
So we want you at Revelation.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all want me there?
Yes, sir.
We just don't want you to be in administration.
I ain't gonna break my $2 if it come now.
I don't care if you don't bring no dollar. We'll give you some dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I ain't never heard a preacher say don't break no dollar.
Man, we'll give you
You ain't have to come out with no money.
Man, we'll give you some dollars, man. We live to give at Revelation.
It don't cost that much to fill that moped up or scooter. What you got?
I can feel your bike with the change in my pocket.
Yeah, I definitely want to get
I mean, mini
that.
bike. Yeah, mini bike.
Yeah, I definitely want to get that phone. Y'all will give me money to get back home.
And guess what? I'm gonna blow your mind with this one.
Okay.
I don't receive a salary.
Man, that's his second joke. And the preacher that I go to, he do the same thing. He do the same thing. Okay, let me tell you. They used to take his joke at every wall. But when that Lord Day come, and them
Oh, guess who we get? You know what? You gonna take your clothes off when I tell you this.
Right.
Guess who we got on hold wants to call in?
No, not the dog.
No. Got somebody better than that. I told you gonna take your clothes off. You finna get happy. Yeah, you finna get happy.
Well, let me see who it is.
Your comrade, your general, your elected Superman. He goes on the other radio station. This is AKA to me, Maurice. But his real name is Michael Cox.
Oh, well, let me get out. I ain't heard Mike in a long time. Y'all have a good one, man.
Send that reprobate on through.
Welcome back, Mike.
Hello, Michael. How are you?
Yes, sir. I just called to congratulate you on your new time. That's all I have to say.
You haven't been listening?
Yeah, I really haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
Once since I've been traveling around in the car, but.
We've been hearing you. Everybody wants to know who this Maurice. I said, that ain't no Maurice. That's Michael Cox. We know that.
I know Q know how to jack out and cue it up too when I'm out. But anyway, I just want to congratulate you on your new time. I still don't agree with anything you say, but that's fine. But I don't agree with nothing you say, but. I've been pretty bad. Back in the past, I did agree with maybe one or two things, but other than that, we don't agree on very much. But and I can't change your mind. You can't change mine. But it is.
But look, I'm glad you called him, Michael. I'm glad you called him. What did you think about the little homosexual pride parade that they had about a month or two ago?
To be honest with you, I don't have a problem with it. Just like I don't have a problem with the alt-right having theirs either. I don't have a problem with that. They just sort of have to.
But you know, and I'm gonna play it again today since I know you're listening. You know what they homosexual pride parade? You know one of the main events they did. You know what they did, Michael? They had Jesus in a G-string. Then they had Jesus bending over like somebody was humping him in the butt. Then they had Jesus humping the disciples in the butt. Did you know that?
Okay, but but we don't know. They had a picture that resembles what they think is Jesus. So
Okay, and because none of us really know what Jesus looked like. But me, not just me as a believer, I think it is so disrespectful and blasphemous for whatever ideal they have of Jesus to picture him and portray him to those children that were out there as a pervert.
But was it disrespectful when they were portraying President Obama as being Hitler?
Yes. Yes, it was.
And all this other kind of
Now, was that disrespectful? I had a guy that used to be a friend that sent me a picture of a gorilla that was having sex with Michelle Obama, and I told him that I don't want to disrespect to Obama, that was disrespectful to me. He said, yes, it was disrespectful. I have no problem with playing that. But you still ask my question. How do you feel about them portraying Jesus with the G-string? Getting fudge with a pack of fudge in his butt? And a pack of fudge in his second butt?
I feel disrespectful, but you know what I like to do it. I feel disrespectful, but
I have a right to go out there and piss on the front porch. That doesn't mean that I can do it.
No, that means it's true, but you still have a right to do that.
So you need to be your love of Christ because they have a right to do it. That doesn't feed you.
To be honest with you, it doesn't. It doesn't feed me, it's wrong. The whole lot of stuff being done is wrong, and it doesn't feel me. But I know what God means to me. It's not my God that they're doing it to. That's not the God that I serve. So my thing is that God doesn't defend me, it really does. Then I was one bad flag. It doesn't defend me. It doesn't bad flag.
Yes.
It doesn't defend me.
Yeah, it does.
Well, that doesn't defend me either. Even though the word is very long, it doesn't defend me at all. But it doesn't defend me because I respect everything and it is. But that's
So the whole thing of being used when they talk about Obama, the dog.
No, I mean, you got right beyond the
I know when you said about Obama, you said that finished you.
I said it was wrong. It was wrong. I shouldn't be able to tell you. But if it was wrong, it's wrong to do it. I think it's wrong, but you have a right to do it.
Is it wrong for the homosexual to do that to Jesus?
I think it's wrong, but it doesn't fit me at all. It doesn't fit me. It doesn't fit me at all.
Did it fit you with a woman?
No, sir, it was wrong, but it didn't fit me, no. But that ain't better than me. But the thing is, people are not Christian. I'm not a follower of Jesus. But when they hear something, it doesn't fit me. Because I don't respect them.
They claim to be Christians.
Even though they proclaim, it's not what you proclaim, it's what you do.
That's what they is. That's what they is. And they're proclaiming to be Christians. That's what they is. Yes. You got a church. You got a pastor in the preaching. You got a virgin in the pulpit. You know that?
Well, what's everybody? You know the pastor who's right in the method. It's a homosexual. You know.
Okay.
You know, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you get all the relationship? Do you put these people on that?
Yeah. You must have been listening.
Listen, I tell you.
You heard when I was going on in the morning. I was rebuking them then, I was rebuking them now.
What are you talking about my name?
I don't know. Dr. Frederick Gooch. Ordained, he did. By Jones and apostasy.
Oh, you good? I didn't know that.
Why you ain't sticking about those things? All right, Mike. Now you might call you Maurice. Is your middle name Maurice? Hello? Wagner? Typical liberal. Hide out. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Hello, Bob. Welcome to the show. Yeah, I hear you. We got him a song, man. Yeah, we jacked up, though. Y'all get it all on you. Go ahead. Hello, yeah? So, Mom, we didn't even hang here, but it's about a mom. Hello, Kyle, welcome to the show. What's up, my friend? I take offense to that. They have a right to do it. I can't do nothing about it, but I take offense to it.
Yeah, but in other words, it's saying you make an enemy out of whoever wants to be your enemy.
That's not about making an enemy about it. Is everybody that offend you your enemy?
And that's what I'm saying. You're supposed to be at peace with your enemies.
Yeah, I am at peace. Did you hear me say that I'm going to war with them? My job as a pastor is to proclaim to the people of God, to the believers, to them that have an ear to hear, that this is not of God, that this is blasphemy, that this is evil.
Right,
if they accept it, that's on them. It ain't my job to convict you. That's Holy Ghost job.
But then to voice your strong opinion on the radio that these are fighting words and all that. I mean,
I said about fighting. What fighting word did I use? You get around when I talk about this homosexuality. What fighting word did I use?
The major thing is crazy. I mean, of course it's offensive.
Okay, you didn't ask my question. What fighting word did I use? See, that homosexual spirit that y'all run with, anytime somebody says that that's against the word of God or is evil, then you want to start like somebody's being offensive. No, I'm not being offensive. In actuality, they're being offensive, trying to force their sexual purposes on my life.
Right, but what I'm saying, you invited everybody to call aboard on a radio station and hate these homosexuals who put out their picture. I mean, that's just wrong. It shouldn't affect you that
Well, Ricky, all I can tell you this right here. I'm going to proclaim the word of God as long as I'm here. And if it offends you and it steps on your toes, then stick your fingers out there. Because if you get tired of the word offending you, then get right.
Well, that's the main thing, but you can't just put somebody on and say,
I ain't putting nobody's on. Who on you see me tweet?
They think that's the real thing.
Who on did you see me tweet? If you don't like me teaching the word of God, Ricky, that's an easy proclamation to fix. Don't listen. Well, when you get through talking, I'm going to proclaim the Lord, and I'm not going to waste my time to you defend them homosexuals. So goodbye. Okay. Go ahead, Q, play this video.
That's just wrong to make people think enemies out of it.
Yeah, well, anyway, okay. Well, I'm an enemy of man, I'm a friend of God, I'll take it.
In every single parade, in every single event, in every single LGBT pushed, sexualized little event, they are mocking Christians and they are mocking Jesus Christ. Look at the video, man. This is disgusting. Whipping him. Some guy, some LGBT gay man dressed as Jesus Christ, mocking the crucifixion with the cross tied around his head with blood stains on his feet, etc. With a nun, a sexualized little sex costumes, a nun whipping him from the back and him lifting up for water like a God help me, etc. And this is disgusting. And it's not Buddha that they're doing it to. It's not a Hindu God that they're doing it to. It's not any Muslim. It's not Allah that they're doing it to. It's crazy. But they'll do it to Christianity simply because they hate the fact that we'll go and preach to them and let them know Jesus loves you. God doesn't want you to suffer in hell, just like any other sin that anyone, me as well, is doing. We don't want you to suffer. We love you, God. It's not any other religious group except Christians that they are doing this to. They are focused on Christ. They are focused on Christians. And the crazy part is it's in Muslim countries that they're out destroying LGBT people's lives and killing LGBT people simply for being gay. But yeah, sit there and mock Jesus Christ and Christians, the people who say they love you, but we just will not sit there and bow down to your sexuality the way you do every day and let even people like Macy's and stores sell your own sexuality and brand your sexuality and sell it back to you, and you fall for it. To top it all off, you got this clown who comes out dressed as Jesus Christ with I guess apparently another Jesus Christ in front of him, supposedly having homosexual sex, and everyone's laughing and cheering him on, and no one says one thing wrong. Everyone in the background is laughing, having a great time. They're doing this in front of thousands of people, however many people there, and everyone's cheering it on, and everything's dandy and fine. Wow. And it's to Christians that they're doing it to. Alright? This is disgusting. It's truly disgusting. I have no problems with gay people at all. I do not hate you guys. I do not wish y'all to be persecuted. I know y'all gotta eat. They have the same human rights as everyone else does. It's called the amendments. Welcome to America. It's ridiculous. I know that majority of people that get called homophobic or whatever, they have no problems with gay people. They don't care what you do. They don't care about what you're doing in your bed in your private time. Nobody cares. Majority of people in life, actually, we don't care. We don't care. We don't want it shoved in our faces, and those of us who are Christian, we don't respect or like that you're out there disrespecting Christianity, disrespecting our faith, and sitting there mocking Jesus Christ in this disgusting way that you are doing. And anyone who agrees with it has a problem. Anyone who will sit there and say, but when you guys come and preach to us and tell us that we're sinning, then don't listen to us. You don't have to sit there and listen to the preacher. A preacher preaching outside, you could keep walking, keep it moving. Be like Bill, like that meme. Be like Bill. You see something online, Bill, keep scrolling. Be like Bill. Okay, be like Bill. You see a church, they're preaching, then don't go to church if you don't want to hear the message. Alright, I know a lot of churches compromise and they're waving down the LGBT flag and they have bowed down and compromised themselves, but God says it clearly. Those who are whoremongers, robbers, fornicators, adulterers, homosexuals, man stealers, woman stealers, covetous, etc. will not make it to the kingdom of heaven. And we say that to you with love because we want you to go to heaven. If this is your reason for sitting there and mocking Christianity and doing what y'all doing, to the name of Jesus Christ. It's all right. You know, I'll be upset, and I know God doesn't need me to defend him, because y'all will answer for that yourselves. And don't worry, all these people will answer for it when the day comes. Don't worry about that. We don't have to worry about that as Christians, but we will speak out about it. All right? And if no one else has the courage to do it, I definitely will, and I definitely do. Let me tell you something. No real Christian hates any type of person. Every real Christian understands that we are fighting, and we all suffer, and we all go through temptation, and we all have our own sins that we all fight and battle every single day until we are free of that in the name of Jesus Christ. All right? Every single Christian understands that. But every real Christian will also tell you the Word of God, and will correct you, and will preach to you, and will testify to you in the name of Jesus Christ, and what God has done in their life, and what God has saved them from and changed them from, and we will testify that every single day of our lives. And if you don't want to hear it, fine, no problem. But we do not hate anybody. No true Christian hates anybody. We are not shoving anything in your face. For example, this video, I didn't invite you here. I didn't get you to pass 5 minutes in this video. I didn't get you here. You are still here because you choose to do that. You don't have to listen to the preacher, right? No Christian hates you. Every real Christian wants you to live a life, whether that's of sin or not, that is your choice. Every real Christian will give you the same free will, and will understand that you have a free will to love God or not, the same way they were given that right by God. And it comes from God, that right to free will, to do good or evil, to love God or not, to sin or stop. You're going to tell me that me just preaching to you the Word of God and telling you Jesus loves you, and we want to see you go to heaven, and we want to see you be the person that God created you to be, that's hatred? But what you guys do at every single parade and every single event, while you sexualize kids, and while you're there butt naked and titties out and penises out in front of little children and mocking Jesus Christ in front of children, that's not hatred? As you have your fun doing this to Christians and doing that to Jesus Christ? Come on, man. Come on, man. And I dare any LGBT person to say that I'm sensitive. That I'm sensitive. I'm being sensitive. I don't care if you don't like God. I don't care if you hate God. I don't care if you don't believe or whatever it is. If you don't think that being homosexual is wrong or sin, that's fine. Live your life. Live your life. Live your life. I don't let what you do in your bed bother my day or affect my day. I'm not being sensitive. Okay, because as soon as I say I don't agree with your lifestyle, all of y'all attack me. All the most intolerant, and we spread love, but y'all really spread sexuality, that's it. We spread love, and we're so intolerant, and we're a group for everybody. You're not a group for everybody. You're not tolerant of everybody. Where is the C in LGBT for Christianity? Where is the B in LGBT for blacks? Where's the W in LGBT for white people? You guys are not inclusive. You guys are not tolerant. You guys are none of those things. You guys talk about spreading love until someone disagrees with your lifestyle. And the only lifestyle you guys promote are LGBT. Okay? Last time I checked, that didn't include fat people, that didn't include Hispanics, that didn't include black people, that didn't include any other type of people but LGBT. You must repent of your homosexuality, you must repent of your addictions, you must repent of your smoking, your fornication, and everything else, and every real Christian knows that, and you come to a point of change, and where you have been delivered from those things. We don't wish any oppression upon you. That's why we don't like it upon us. That's what this video is about. You don't like what you're doing. I definitely don't like it. God doesn't like it. And you wouldn't like it if it's done to you. This is not right. None of this is right. Okay? We don't wish that you are killed or jailed or enslaved or whatever.
I gotta stop there because I got something else to blame me. But that doesn't offend him. But he said, but then that's not a problem. That offends him because he's their God. Ain't nothing but the devil. Pure devil. Pure devil. See, I found it what I say. But I need to get to this transhuman. I gotta get the transhuman. They gotta get the transhuman. Gotta get the transhuman. The reason that they're pushing this Equality Act is because you got a thing called transhumanism, y'all.
Yep.
And see, once they get you to accept transsexual, then it can get you to accept transhuman. These demonic spirits got an agenda. It's a satanic agenda. I'm telling you this on a perdition. Let me play with the transhumanism.
The A to Z of isms, transhumanism. Most of us would consider the end of the human race as a catastrophe. There are some, however, who will not only rejoice at it, but want to hasten the day it arrives. Transhumanists look forward to a future in which Homo sapiens is superseded by a better, smarter, fitter model, humanity 2.0. Humans are in dire need of improvement. Any species that causes huge damage to our environment can't feed itself, even though it has enough food, and fights countless wars costing millions of lives, must surely benefit from an intelligence upgrade. Our lifespans are short, our final years usually characterized by diminishing health and vitality, often accompanied by a drop-off in cognitive capacity. 1 in 3 people born in 2015 are expected to get dementia. Is this really the best we can hope for? Transhumanists think not. Aging could be stopped and even reversed. Enhancements could dramatically raise our IQs and make us stronger and fitter. We might even be able to leave our fragile bodies behind and upload ourselves to computers, living forever in virtual worlds. Improving humanity through science and technology could radically change us. Such a new beginning would in effect be the end of humanity as we know it. Many transhumanists see this as not only desirable, but inevitable. The scientist and futurist Ray Kurzweil believes we are approaching what he calls the singularity, the point at which computers become smart enough to learn for themselves, after which they will rapidly become smarter and smarter. The future belongs to artificial intelligence. The only way for humanity to survive is to embrace it and become wholly or partially artificial ourselves. The thought of being replaced by a new form of humanity is bound to be unsettling. But transhumanists think we would be wrong to lament the end of humanity as we know it, when what replaces us would be so much better. It would be like wishing children never grew up, or that Homo erectus never evolved into Homo sapiens. If the transhumanists are right, we could be one of the last generations of humans to roam the planet.
Let me break it down for you. With this 5G technology, this transsexualism, they're going to take your brain and plant it into a cyborg. Sex won't even be necessary. There will be no more death. There will be no more sickness, because they're going to create a new humanity. That's what you're voting for. That's what you're pushing. And you're doing it willingly. 901-452-3094 or 901-324-7490.
Hey, Bolton, you can call back, man.
You got lost. Miss America, you know, they took her title. Yeah, they took Miss America's title because she said she was conservative.
Wow.
Yeah, took her title. If you claim to be a Christian, then all of a sudden, you get the onslaught. I'm trying to find out they got raised in. One where they did a straight march, where straight people marched. And they came out because they were promoting heterosexual sex, conservative ideology, Christian ideology. You know, homosexuals came out and they protested 3-1. That if you claim to be a conservative or a Christian, that you are homophobic and a Nazi. And of course, you know, they gotta be, they'll patent the word, so everybody is a racist, white supremacist. They just a whole upgrade. For those of you that are believers, now you got some believers that are like Michael Cox. Don't offend them what they do with Jesus. It means nothing to them. But then you got some of us that do love our God. And we do believe that this is wrong. The Bible says that those that are redeemed by the Lord say so. don't let these people keep fooling you with this emotionalism about this Democratic Party. Racism is not destroying blacks in America. No, no, no. It's liberalism. Here it is. I found it. I found it. And I'm going to play it because it's the truth. And this is the Truth Radio Show. We tell nothing but the truth. The whole truth. And nothing but the truth. No problem there. We're gonna jump on a video commercial with the kids in the car. Play, and we're gonna see Jesus today. I can steer this show. Man, get a great deal on the center at the Chrysler Center. I'm going to get rid of this thing. Pull up the Modesto Straight Pride event, and you can see it. What happened was they came out.
Members of the LGBTQ community and their supporters showed up at Enslin Park for their own demonstration.
This is all of Modesto and a big part of the valley coming together for us to say we're not going to stand for bigotry, we're not going to stand for hate.
Good, there you go, thank you.
Each other, and we're going to embrace each other.
James Marble among those who addressed the crowd. So did Assembly member Susan Eggman, who recalled being a young lesbian in the late 1970s.
If you've never been afraid to walk down the street holding the hand of the person you love, then you might not need a parade just for you on that day. But for a lot of people who have feared their safety, a lot of people who have been assaulted for simply loving who they love, to have a place of inclusion and acceptance is incredibly important.
As this demonstration continued, the California Straight Pride Coalition, led by Don Gruneman, gathered in front of a Planned Parenthood to send their message.
Straight culture is under attack. Well, I'll call it normal, natural, healthy, sane is under attack. And we're going to illustrate that in the election cycle upcoming. We're going to illustrate our point, and we're going to bring sanity back to the nation.
Gruneman, joined by a smaller group of supporters, including Linda Mason.
There's an agenda, I'll say, against, in the public square, against Christianity in general. So this all goes together for us.
Shortly after the coalition's demonstration began, the group from Enslin Park arrived in large numbers to protest that message. The dueling sides argued and chanted back and forth beneath the hot sun for more than an hour, before eventually going their separate ways. This, as police patrolled the peaceful demonstration, issuing no citations and making no arrests. In Modesto, Max Resnick, KCRA News.
And the Straight Pride Coalition pledged that this is only the start for them. They're hoping to have chapters in states across the entire country.
Yeah. It's real.
Yes, it is.
You can know it if you want to. You can proclaim to be a Christian and promote this false doctrine if you want to. All in the name of your racism, your hate, your antichrist agenda. But I'm here to tell you, Michael Cox is right. A whole lot of false preachers out there. It's your fault. That's your fault. For not reading your Bible yourself, you should go to church for two reasons. Either for confirmation or correction. The preachers won't be able to preach no anything to you if you've been reading the Bible yourself. God will reveal to you the mysteries of who He are. And when you get God in you, you take Him with you wherever you go. But you keep on listening to these folks that stuck on tradition and that whole world politics. politics of hate Trump. These same people that won't even call in the name of Jesus. Look, we got to get out of here. If you like the show, support the show. Go to AndreGuy.com, click on Revelation Christian Center, and you can donate by PayPal. I'm in here with a summer cold, battling to keep doing this radio show, because this is a ministry. Somebody got to stand on the gospel. And God chose me, and I accept it.
Thank you.
Amen. So I love you. God bless. Want to catch a good Bible study tonight? Come by 1561 Boxwood. Right there in the neighborhood you grew up in. But now you got to slow your car down. You know, you do 60 miles an hour when you come to Hyde Park. Yeah, come on by there. 6:30, 7:30. We got the word of God for you. God bless. I love you. I'll be back tomorrow.